Under a sprawling banyan tree, Buddha sat serenely, the air filled with the soft rustling of leaves. I approached him, my heart heavy with questions, my mind tangled in an endless web of thoughts. "Master," I began, kneeling before him, "I feel lost in overthinking every step of my life." Buddha looked at me, his eyes calm yet piercing, and gestured for me to sit beside him. "Tell me," he said gently, "what is it that consumes your thoughts so deeply?" "Master, every decision feels like a burden," I confessed. "I fear choosing wrongly, and so I remain paralyzed." Buddha nodded, his expression neither judging nor pitying, but profoundly understanding my plight. "Imagine," he said, "a man crossing a vast desert, carrying a heavy bag filled with stones." I listened, curious yet puzzled by his words, waiting for the meaning to emerge from his story. "The man," Buddha continued, "fears losing even one stone, for he believes they hold great value, but as the days pass, his strength wanes, and the weight of the stones becomes unbearable." Buddha added, "Do the stars fear the infinite expanse, or do they shine bravely?" I pondered his words, the metaphor stirring something deep within me. He continued, "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the embrace of uncertainty with trust." He pointed to the ground near my feet, where a sprout pushed through the soil. "This seed," he said, "trusted the darkness of the earth before reaching the light." He pointed to a nearby stream, where water flowed gently yet persistently over smooth, polished rocks. "The stream does not cling to its rocks," Buddha explained. "It flows around them, embracing its path." "How can I learn to flow like the stream?" I asked, eager for his guidance in this struggle. Buddha picked up a fallen leaf, placing it carefully in the palm of his hand. "This leaf," he said, "does not resist the wind or fear where it may land. It surrenders," he continued, "and in doing so, it finds its place without effort or hesitation." "You must learn to trust the flow of life," Buddha said, "and let go of your unnecessary burdens." I sat in silence, the leaf's simplicity and the stream's persistence resonating deeply within my heart. "But how do I begin, Master?" I asked, the yearning for freedom from overthinking burning within me. "Begin by observing," Buddha replied. "Notice when a thought arises, and ask yourself if it truly serves you. If it does not," he added, "release it, like the leaf that lets go of the branch." I nodded, though uncertainty still lingered within me, the habit of overthinking not easily broken. "Be patient with yourself," Buddha said, as if sensing the doubt in my mind. "Change requires time and compassion. The man in the desert," Buddha continued, "must first recognize the weight of his stones before he can release them. Likewise," he said, "you must become aware of the weight your thoughts place upon you." I closed my eyes, imagining the desert, the man, and the heavy stones pressing against his weary shoulders. "Each step," he said, "felt like stepping into a void, yet each step revealed the ground beneath me." I sensed the profound wisdom in his words, their simplicity carrying depths I could scarcely fathom. "Then begin now," he replied, "one thought at a time, one step at a time, without overthinking the process." As I rose to leave, Buddha placed the leaf in my hand, a tangible reminder of his timeless lesson. The journey to simplicity had begun, and with each step, I carried less, moving closer to peace. Another day, under the shade of the ancient banyan tree, Buddha sat in quiet meditation, radiating calm. I approached him with a heart full of questions, seeking clarity and guidance for the struggles of my mind. "Master," I began, "my overthinking has grown worse. Each decision feels like an inescapable web tightening around me." Buddha looked up, his serene gaze steady, and motioned for me to sit down beside him. "What do you fear most when you overthink?" he asked gently, his voice like a soft breeze in the silence. "I fear making mistakes," I confessed. Every choice I make seems to carry the weight of countless possible failures. Buddha picked up a piece of rope that lay nearby, holding it up for me to see. Take this rope and tie a knot, he instructed. His tone patient and calm. I obeyed, tying a simple knot with little effort, wondering what wisdom would come from this act. Now untie it, he said, his gaze unwavering, his hands resting lightly on his lap. I untied the knot just as easily, and looked at him, unsure of what would come next. Buddha nodded, then handed the rope back to me with a small, knowing smile. Tie another knot, he instructed. But this time, think of all the ways it could go wrong while doing so. I hesitated, my mind immediately filling with doubts and imagined difficulties. As I began to tie the knot, the rope tangled awkwardly in my hands, each movement adding to the complexity of the knot. Now untie this one, Buddha said, his eyes watching me with an expression of deep understanding. I struggled with the knot, my frustration growing as the rope seemed to resist my every attempt. This knot is impossible, I said, feeling defeated, my hands dropping the rope in exasperation. Buddha picked up the tangled rope and placed it gently on the ground between us. This is the nature of overthinking, he said. It complicates what could be simple, tying the mind into knots. How do I stop tying these knots in my mind? I asked, yearning for a way to escape the pattern. Approach each thought with clarity and simplicity. Buddha replied, do not fear mistakes, for they are part of the journey. He gestured to the rope, now lying limp and untangled on the ground before us. Do not let fear twist your actions or your thoughts, he said. Trust in your ability to untie the knots. His words resonated within me, their simplicity cutting through the tangled web of my overthinking. But, Master, I said, what if I make a mistake that cannot be undone? Buddha smiled, his expression one of infinite patience and kindness. A rope can always be cut, he said, and life often presents new paths when old ones seem blocked. Embrace the lessons of each knot, he added, for they teach you how to move forward, even when tangled. I nodded, the weight of his words settling over me like a warm, reassuring blanket. As I rose to leave, he handed me the rope, a tangible reminder of the lesson I had learned. With each step away from the banyan tree, I felt the knots in my mind beginning to loosen. The path before me seemed clearer, as if the act of entangling one knot had simplified my entire journey. Another day, Buddha sat near a quiet pond, its surface shimmering under the golden rays of the afternoon sun. I approached him, my mind still restless despite his earlier teachings, seeking further guidance for my troubled thoughts. Master, I began. Though I try to let go, my mind remains a storm, unable to find peace. Buddha turned his gaze toward the pond, his expression calm, as if he had already anticipated my struggle. Come, he said, motioning for me to sit beside him on the soft grass by the water's edge. What do you see in this pond? Buddha asked, his voice gentle but deliberate, guiding my attention outward. I looked at the water, its surface rippling with the faint movements of fish in the breeze. I see ripples, Master, I replied, observing how the water seemed to dance and shift with each passing moment. Indeed, Buddha said, these ripples are like the thoughts in your mind, stirred by every little disturbance. I nodded, understanding his analogy, but still unsure how to calm the ceaseless storm within me. Watch, Buddha said, and he picked up a small stone, tossing it gently into the pond. The stone sank, creating larger ripples that spread outward, disturbing the once smooth surface of the water. As long as you toss stones into the pond, it cannot become still, Buddha explained, his words clear and simple. But I do not wish to toss stones, I said. My thoughts seem to appear on their own, unbidden. Buddha smiled, his expression filled with patience, as he gestured again toward the pond. Now, he said, observe what happens when we do nothing to the water. I sat in silence, watching the ripples slowly fade, the pond gradually returning to its natural, tranquil state. Do you see? Buddha asked, his voice breaking the gentle stillness around us. Yes, Master, I said. The pond becomes clear again when nothing disturbs it. This, Buddha said, is the key to finding peace within your mind. Do not fight the thoughts. Simply observe them. But Master, I asked, how can I observe without becoming caught up in the storm of my thoughts? Buddha reached for a lotus blossom floating near the edge of the pond. Holding it delicately in his hands, this lotus grows in the murkiest waters, he said. Yet it remains untouched by the mud below. Be like the lotus, he continued, aware of the mud but never consumed by it. Rooted in stillness and clarity, I gazed at the lotus, its pure petals a stark contrast to the muddy waters surrounding it. But Master, I asked, what if the storm is too strong, and the mind cannot find stillness on its own? Buddha placed the lotus back into the pond, watching it float gracefully atop the water. Even in the storm, he said, the lotus remains afloat, trusting in its nature to weather the chaos. Likewise, he continued, trust in your own nature to find balance. Even when the mind feels overwhelmed, his words settled into my heart, their simplicity cutting through the complexities of my overthinking. I sat in silence, the stillness of the pond reflecting the lesson I so desperately needed to learn. Master, I said, I will strive to be like the lotus, observing without clinging, trusting in my nature to find peace. Buddha nodded, his gaze returning to the pond, as if to say the lesson was already within me. As I rose to leave, the gentle ripples on the water faded completely, leaving the pond serene and still. The path to peace now felt closer, as if the lotus had anchored me to the truth within myself. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.